Well, the plan in this photographic video is to take a photograph of this waterfall using different neutral density filters. So I've bought this KASE Neutral Density filter pack. I went for the 112mm system because one day I will replace, hopefully, my old 14 to 24 2.8 with the new Z24 14 to 24 lens, and that takes 112mm filters. But in order to get those filters onto a 77mm thread, then we need to use a step up ring. So that's 77 to 112 on there. And then the neutral density filter with magnets beams onto that and holds that in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the GoPro off of that. Well, it's a DJI, but I call it GoPro. We're going to take the GoPro DJI thing off of that, put the camera on. I don't have one of those ninja things. Let's get lots of subscribers and then we can get lots of extra kit that I don't mind buying. So basically what we've got, I've put the focus point around about there, because you want to be about 2/3 of the way in to get as much in focus as possible. We use back button autofocus. That turns green, so we know that that is in focus. Now currently we're on 400ths of a second, f11, 640 ISO. So what we'll do is we'll take our first photograph. Now, if we press the ISO button and the front, use your eyes, Tony. If we press the front ISO button, currently we're on ISO Auto 64. That means the minimum ISO that it will automatically go down to is 64. But because we've got these settings, automatic f11 400, to get that all the correct exposure, then it's doing an automatic 640. If we want to get the ISO lower, we can take it out of auto ISO. The front dial changes it auto to regular. Now of course you can see that we are completely underexposed. So we were on 600 ISO. So if you call 640, 600, so one stop is 300, two stops is 150, three stops is about 65, isn't it? So in theory, we haven't changed. We were on 400 f11 and 64. So to get this back into exposure, correctly exposed, we need to get three stops down from 400. There's 1, 2, 3. So that's around about where we were earlier on. We have to turn this 3 times for one stop, because it's in third stop increments, and that gets it back up to 400. So one stop is 3 turns, two stop is another 3 turns, 3 stops is another 3 turns. So we now have a 50th of a second f11 at 64. So what we'll do now is we'll take another photograph, 64, 11, a 50th, and that will to an extent blur the water a little bit more than 400. Now another thing that we could do to blur the water, take the f-stop from the 11 that we were on, 1 stop to 2 stops more, and then 1 stop, 2 stops, and that gets it down to 1/13 of a second, f22, 64. We'll take that shot. One thing to bear in mind is the higher the f number, yes, your depth of field improves, but actually the quality probably goes down slightly. So ideally we want to get it to about f11 and then 50th of a second. Now what we want to be able to do is, if we can, to get 50th of a second down 3 stops, so that would be 50th of a second, 25, 12, 6. So if we can get it down 3 stops to a 1/6 of a second, that would be 6, 12, 24, 50 for round figures. And in order to do that, what we need is a 6-stop neutral density filter, which very helpfully, a 3-stop neutral density filter, which very helpfully, rather than calling it 6 or 3 or whatever, they call it 8. So this neutral density, don't drop the bloody thing, Tony, is a 3-stop neutral density filter, and we can put that on there. Now you can see that we are underexposed. So we need to turn the shutter speed 1, 2, 3 for 1 stop, 1, 2, 3 for 2 stops, and 1, 2, 3 for 3 stops. And again, you can see that the histogram is approximately where it was when we started. So we are now at 1/6 of a second. We will take the shot. I like to use this, and then you're not touching the camera, there's no camera shake, and this is just really convenient because you can plug it in there, and you know, there's no automatic things, other things, and it's very light. The only thing is, I don't think there is one of these on the, is there one of these on the Z5 too? If we want to go another 3 stops from 6 seconds, so half of 6 is 3, half of 3 is 1.5, and half of 1.5 is like just over 0, isn't it? So if we take that one off, put that one in there, and now we take out, this one. This is an ND 64, which I don't know who came up with the numbering for these. This is now 6 stops less than when we started. In other words, 3 stops more than the last one. So now you can see, once again, we're underexposed. So 1, 2, 3, that's 1 stop. 1, 2, 3, that's 2 stops. 1.5, 1, 2, 3, 3 stops. So that is now, actually I think that's 1.3 seconds now, isn't it? Maths was never my strong point. So now we've got the histogram about where it was before, 1.3 seconds, take the shot. But if we want to blur it even more, what we can do is we can take that one off. So that was 6 stops. We can put that back in there. And now we can take this one. So this one is 10 stops. In other words, that one, it just snaps on like that. In other words, that is now 4 stops more than where we were before. So the histogram is way over here. So 1, 2, 3, that's 1 stop. 1, 2, 3, that's 2 stops. 2, 3, 3 stops. So, oh, and we need one more, don't we? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I thought the histogram wasn't looking right, because we need it to be 4 stops less than where we were, because you had 3 stops, 6 stops, 10 stops. So 3, 3, and then 10. So 6 to 10 is obviously 4. And now we've got the same histogram, and now we've got a 20-second exposure. So now we take the shot. And obviously we now have to wait 20 seconds while it takes the exposure. One thing they do mention is to cover the eyepiece. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Again, this is more to give you an example, to show you, you know, all the exactities, and that is now 20 seconds. So that one was about 400th. That one was about 40th of a second. And then you can see them getting more and more blurry. And that's obviously the blurriest of them all. All right, now we're down to 20 seconds. If we want another 3 stops, then we could maybe take the 3 stop and add that to the 10 stop. And now 1, 2, 3. Oh, now it's down to bulb. Oh, that's confused there, doesn't it? Now you have to now work out how long it is. So 20 seconds. So double 20 seconds to 40 seconds, and double 40 seconds to 80 seconds. So once it's on bulb, there. So let's see whether we get this right, because we're going to try and work it out manually now. So 20 seconds doubled is 80 seconds. So 20 doubled is 40, and 40 doubled is 80. Hang on, then we've still got, hang on, no, we've got to think about this. So 20, we put 3 stops on, didn't we? Ooh, that's going to be a long exposure, isn't it? So if we have to think then, so 20 seconds to 40, 40 seconds to 80, and then 80 seconds to 120 seconds. 20 seconds, 40 seconds, 80 seconds, 120 seconds. 66 and 6 is 12. So 2 minutes. The genius. The genius. Okay, so we need a 2-minute exposure with that stoppy thing on. All right, so we'll have to use the stopwatch on my watch. So if we press the button and then the timer, so then we'll just have to keep an eye on it. So that should hopefully be...
The bright sparks out there will notice, 1, my arithmetic is wrong, 2, I didn't do the shutter properly. Let's carry on. Please do keep watching to the end.
I don't know if you can see, but you can still see through there. And let's see what happens. We'll check the doodads on the back in a minute. This is maybe where a timer would be useful. At the moment we're on 48 seconds. So we got another 1 minute, 10 seconds to go. I've brought the Eva Nio backpack on this trip. I've done a video on that, so do check that video out. Well, unpacking it anyway. A fairly basic video, but do check that. So we're coming up to 1.5 minutes. So we'll get it to, we probably ought to stop it just before the 2 minute mark. I think there is something about when you get into the minutes, you have to do something complicated with the time. Is it a bit more or a bit less, or I don't know. Like I said, we're just having fun here. So 1:56, 1:57, obviously it took a second, so we've turned that off. Strange. I'm not sure it's oh, of course, as soon as I know what I did wrong. I was looking at it and I was thinking, why haven't we got a picture? Of course, when you press it, you have to lock it, and I didn't lock it. So it took the picture. So basically it's like taking it, and then when you take your finger off, when you press it and then take your finger off, you got to hold it down. Oh, it's been a while since I've used this. All right, we'll do that again. Okay, all right, so we're on bulb. So this time we'll press and lock it. That's better, because now we can't see anything through there. I did wonder why we were seeing through there. Oh well, okay. Live and learn, that's what this is all about. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Actually, no, it would be 160, wouldn't it? Because 20, 40, 80, 16. 160 seconds. So 60 and 60. Okay, we are currently 1.5 minutes, but actually 2 minutes won't be enough, will it? I'll tell you, maths was never my strong point, because 20 double 20, 40, double 40 to 80, and double 80, 8 and 8 is 16. It's 160 seconds. All right, well, we'll stop it at the 2 minute mark, because that's what we were going to do. So that's about the 2 minute mark, and that's what we've got there. So it's a little bit dark as opposed to that, because obviously we can't add up. So 160 seconds 160 seconds is 2 minutes, it's 120 plus 40. So we need 2 minutes, 40 seconds. So there I'm sure there's a better, easier way than this, but this is what this is all about. You know, most of your channels out there They know exactly what they're doing, and they've got it all exactly worked out. And yeah, that's very nice, and yes, you're going to learn a lot from it. You're not going to learn anything here. You're going to learn how not to do it here. But that's the whole point, you know. We will try and learn together, figure these things out, develop our skills together, and see how we go. Comment below is how we learn. But I do hope that you are finding this, you know, enjoyable. We're just having a bit of fun, learning together. So when we get another 8 seconds, right, that's 2 minutes 40. Right, and then to release it, you just release that. Let's have a look. That's the one where we messed up. That was the 2 minutes, so obviously not enough. And then that one is 2 minutes 40. We'll have a look at home and see what it's like, you know, whether it needed a bit more. Again, you know, like I said, we are learning, you know, we are learning together, so we will kind of see how we get on. And then we're going to get that back to 400. We're going to put the auto ISO on. It's trying to do 12,800, and even that's not enough. And then when we take everything off, we're back to the 640 f11 at 400 where we started. So I'm going to put these two away. They do stick together quite well. So that's the very dark one, that's the red one. So that goes in there and that goes in there. So they're all color coded in there. So you've got the blue is 3 stops, the yellow is 6 stops, the red is 10 stops, and then you've got a neutral night filter. Maybe we'll try nighttime sometime if we feel like it. And then we've got a UV light, a UV one, and then a circular polarizer. So we'll have a play with the other ones. We'll find some other subjects, you know, that we can butcher in the future. But you know, I don't know what those photographs are going to come out like. But like I said, it is really just an experiment, just having some fun, just to give you a rough idea as to how you can get some motion and dreaminess, you know, into your water and other things like that. I do hope you found this somewhat interesting. We'll catch up in another video. Thanks very much for watching.